Morning everyone, I'm Peter Fishrain. I'm the founder of Manderley Gates. We're the creators of the MG toilet odor venting system. And what we're going to discuss on this video is troubleshooting your MG so you get the maximum amount of performance out of it. There's a couple little rules that you need to follow when installing your MG. This is all discussed on the last page of your instruction booklet that comes with your system. So we're going to start off with, what if my fitting, my MG fitting, I've got it on the toilet bowl. It's designed to rotate left or right to give you more adjustment. What if it's still not lining up with the pipe that's up in our wall that we installed earlier? It was something I got a measurement wrong or whatever it was. Well, then you need to create what we refer to as a dog leg. In your system will be two other fittings, two other pairs of fittings, a 45 and a 60 elbows. Now, I've pre-assembled these, and we also supply 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch ABS nipples, just for this reason. In most cases, but not always, these will be long enough. These will be more than long enough for what you need. But if you need to get quite a ways over, then you'll need to take some of the ABS pipe that you have and cut it to whatever length you're going to need this nipple to join these together. You want to pre-fit all this before you cement it together, because once it's cemented, it's a done deal. You're not taking it back apart. So we've got our base plate here, so that way we know how far we can go left or right. We've got our dog leg fittings, and we'll go ahead and we'll put one in. Again, this is all just hand tight. Now, in creating your dog leg, you'll notice these fittings have a seam. And that's when the manufacturer put them together. We have a seam on ours as well. These seams need to line up with the other fitting. I don't know if you can see it in the video there, but there I've lined it up. And what's the purpose of that? What's so important about that? Well, let me tell you, if you don't do that, these fittings are designed, and for our purpose, we need them perfectly flat, because this is designed to sit flat when it's on the toilet. So here it is, flat off the toilet, off the back of our fitting. Got a nipple installed. If you don't line these seams up, I'll show you what happens. See how right now we're lined up and we're flat here. It's the same. If we have it off, look what happens. We're cockeyed. We're aiming this way, not this way. And this is the way we need to be, so that the pipe that's in our wall can then fit up into there, just like so. If you're using a 45 or a 60, its mate has to be the fitting that you line up with it. If you try to line up 45 with the 60, I'll show you what happens. Remember, we have to be flat. Look what happened. We lined up our center, we're not flat. And there's no way. It only gets worse. So 60 to 60, 45 to 45. Don't mix them up. And remember to always put center to center. So we're flat on top and we're flat on bottom. That way we can line up in the wall. All right? And only cement these once you've hand fit it, you trial fit it, you're happy with it. One more little trick I'll show you. Okay. While you were doing this in the wall, right? And you got it where you want. So, ooh, that's right where I want it. You haven't cemented it yet. You just all hand fit it. So, ooh, that's right where I want it. So you can remember, where did I have that lined up in the MG? Take a Sharpie pen And where that center line is on the fitting, I like to use that as my reference point. I'll take my Sharpie pen and I will make a mark right there on the fitting, lining up with that center mark on the fitting. Again, line that up, make your mark. And so when you take this apart to get it out of that wall, okay, you take all this out, this is up in the wall, you're ready to cement all these connections together. This has to be watertight. So you have to do a good job. Make sure you got the cement, the ABS cement, the way the manufacturer recommends you do it. And it's throughout the joint. So we do that, we cement all this together. And now we're gonna put our cement in here, cement here. We install this. And then we can line that up. You let the cement cure as per the manufacturer's instructions. And when you're all said and done, you got a nice, good weld. ABS actually welds. It melts. When you put that liquid cement on there, it's melting this plastic. So you get a great, great connection if you do it properly. And it'll be watertight. Now, let's say you have an RF3, you put it all together, and you're checking for water leaks, and you have I have a water leak. I have a water leak underneath the tank there. There's 3 areas that leak could be coming from. It could be coming from the bolts that hold the tank to the bowl. There's 2 bolts that go in your tank. I'm going to show you what those look like. All right, here's the water tank with the 3-inch tank bolts already installed. This is what they look like prior to being installed. As you can see, there is a rubber washer. This goes inside the tank. This is the nut and the washer, as you see here. And as you tighten these up, it presses on that rubber washer, creating the seal that's inside this water tank, preventing it from leaking. Sometimes they may not be tight enough. On some toilets, you are actually able, with it all installed, the MG's all done, you don't have to take it back apart in some cases, but with a flat, in this case it's a 1/2-inch nut, flat open-end wrench, you'll be able to slide it in to get access to that, and just apply a little pressure, make sure they're still tight. Same thing on the other side. All right, you don't want to over tighten those. You don't want to damage your water tank. Once you do that, check for leaks again. If it solves your problem, well, there you go. That was the problem. But let's say you've done that, and that's not where the water's coming from. The water's actually coming from the gaskets that are on the fitting. The upper gasket actually installs on this flush valve nut on the bottom of the water tank, then fits into here, this opening here. The lower gasket fastens onto the MG fitting as I'm showing you here. And if that's the case, if once you look at the toilet, you look inside, maybe you need a little flashlight, you're looking in there and the gaskets aren't cockeyed, you made sure that they fell into their proper location. They're not, it didn't get up like this and then you crushed it and it's causing it to be a pinch, which would create a leak. Nope, you're looking in there with your flashlight while it's still on the toilet and say, oh no, it looks good. Then all you probably need to do is make sure that the brass barrel nuts that are holding the tank onto the bowl are tight enough. And you don't want to over tighten these. I can't stress that enough, because you could break the tank and you could break your fitting. We recommend that you have a licensed electrician do this part of the job for you. This is a 2-speed motor. It can be wired on low or high. We recommend for maximum performance, you have him wire it on high. But what if it doesn't come on? He'll know what to check. First thing being the breaker, that the breaker is on. Second thing, that all your connections are good. He'll check that as well. He has the equipment to do that and the know-how. All right, you've got everything installed. You've done everything. You've turned it on, and guess what? I'm not getting good airflow. I'm not getting good air draw out of my unit. What then? Well, that could be a number of things that aren't quite right. So let's make sure we've done those right. And they're discussed in the instructions, but you never know. Some people don't read instructions, right? Let's just say you put, and I have seen this. I've seen that. Wow, we've got a lot of elbows there. You want no more than 3 sharp 90-degree elbows. And you shouldn't need more than 93 if you 3 of them, if you've done it right. But I've seen this. Now you're saying, well, why didn't you just run an elbow from here to here and they could have, you know, shortened this or whatever. Remember, when you flush the toilet, that water tank is sitting here. So the water travels through this fitting. So water can come up in here. It'll equalize with the water in the tank as it's going down. Okay? So that's why these are real important. This is a watertight seam. Whatever within this first 8 inches, however you do it, whether a dog leg or a straight tailpipe, all those fittings have to be watertight. So when the water does come up here and it equalizes with the tank water, that it doesn't have a leak. So you can't have an elbow right here, because if water did go up in here, it could come right here. Now the water would be trapped. It wouldn't drain. And we don't want that. If you'll notice, your MG fitting is designed on an angle. That way, gravity drains it of any water that may get up in there. At the top, coming out of the wall, all right? Coming out of the wall, you're going to have a setup like this. A sweeping, and this is all provided with your system. We use a sweeping elbow. Again, it's less restriction. You're looking for airflow at this point. And then we bump this up with a reducer to from 3 inch to 1 inch, or 1.5 inch. And this is designed, as you can see, it's the same outer dimensions. This is designed to be used with a flex ductwork. And that way, any adjustment. But you don't want to go crazy on that flex ducting either, where you have all these curves in it, all these elbows. You want to plan your install to eliminate any unnecessary turns. Straight, direct connections are best. So the air coming in and the air going out. So where do you mount this? You don't want to mount this like that, where you have to have an elbow in your flex. It's best if you can do it like so. This is this unit taken apart. The center motor, which is really neat, comes out, so you can do all your mounting of your ductwork without it in the way. They'll take a piece of plywood, mount it between the 2x4 supports that are up in the attic. Take some wood screws, mount it to that. This is however it's coming out of your wall. Give yourself some room for your flex. And then you'll take some wood screws, 4 wood screws, mount that to that. All right? Make sure that the size of ducting coming out of here is the same or greater, not less. I've seen this too, where they'll have a moisture vent fan in the bathroom and they'll have their MG fan. That's a 4 inch. This is a 4 inch. And they'll connect this to that. And that's fine. You can do that. But once you do that, at that Y connection to the outlet, to the cap, you're going to need to increase it. You can't keep it at 4, because if you keep it at 4, now you have 2 motors pumping air into a smaller duct, which creates back pressure, which reduces the draw of the motor itself. If you have a 4-inch coming out of your MG fan unit and 4-inch coming out of the moisture fan unit in the bathroom, you're going to need to bump the size of that where these two meet to 8 inches. So there's no restriction. It can breathe freely. Just picture putting your hand over your mouth and running around a track. It'd be kind of tough. Eventually you might pass out. So it's not going to draw the air it should through your MG. Or just run it on its own. You can just keep 4-inch all the way to the outlet. You can do that as well. Well, I hope that helps. I hope what we've covered here will give you some insight and help with your install and getting a maximum performance from your MG. If you still have questions, we do have a tech helpline. That number is 702-542-9237. Don't hesitate to call it. It's Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 in the evening, Pacific Coast time, and on Saturdays from 8:30 till noon, Pacific Coast time as well. Call. We'd love to talk to you. Don't hesitate. Or if you like to use email, you can shoot us off an email with your question about whatever it is you're addressing at help@mgequip.com. That's help@mgequip.com. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and we are so happy and we're so proud that you've selected Manderley Gate and our MG units to enhance your bathroom. Thank you again.